Yeah, it's possible with the new Sheldon's picks that are hopefully coming out soon. We'll see a bit more. But let's get into this top 12. We're going to have Luminous C and Bernina gang coming out. And it looks like we will see that weapon you were talking about, that ballpoint splatling on both sides.
And that's not really that surprising. Lux, I know, has been favoring the ballpoint pretty heavily since it was released and so strong.
Luminous C very much favoring a meta composition here. They have the Kensa Splat Dualies as well as the Kensa Sloshing Machine. Part of the reason to run that Kensa Sloshing Machine as well is because it has such a large hitbox. And the Tetra Dualies as well with those 4 rolls makes it such a nice aggressive counterpart.
For sure, and that's already 2 down though. We got Luminous C here pushing up, taking an early lead, but far from decisive. 48 on this map doesn't really amount to a whole lot in the long run.
Already past the halfway mark. I've been told by many people that the ballpoint splatling is still one of, if not the best backliners in the game because of how consistently you can shoot that long range shot, and you see it there as Muty will fall. That's 2 down on the side of Bernina gang though, so they have to be careful.
They do get that reset though, which will give them a little bit more opportunity to defend their base and get some heat control back here.
And this double Inkstorm composition so powerful on a map like this where you really want to make sure that mid is always in your favor, because when you run the Rainmaker, you usually want to take it up that box, but if you don't have the map control for it, you're going to have to try and bum rush it right, which is not always an easy thing to do.
I can't believe Lux got past that baller.
Very difficult task indeed, but Scooter, that backbone of this composition, really holding strong. Jared sharking around, trying to find anybody that he can pick off. They're already 1 down though, so they have to be very careful. Smartly decides to back off, trying to prioritize that baller, which has still been a staple of pretty much the last several metas.
Absolutely, the baller is still just as strong as ever. We don't often see it on Rainmaker, nearly as much as we see it on Clan Blitz nowadays. But again, Jared, I guess that shark completely paid off, getting a double. Coming in to pull in, and they're going to get a good lead here.
Yeah, they have a 3-down situation. Baller being popped to try and finish this one off. They do get the baller, and that's 2 down, including the Rainmaker. Muty still hanging about, but nice job there, Mango Mode, cleaning up that kill. Lux, however, they're the only one alive on either team, so they're going to be able to hopefully pop this Rainmaker shield. Will they be able to take it to the pedestal, though?
They're going to get it to 7 at the very least. That is a decisive lead.
They might have been able to pop that Inkstorm off, but it was a tall order, both picking up the Rainmaker and getting the Inkstorm off. They chose the Rainmaker, got it to 7, and that's going to be a very convincing push. However, still more than half the time remaining in this game, and Scooter doing a great job of making sure any stragglers are backed off.
We do have a lot of Luminous C still here, apparently picking up and dunking while we were looking.
Very quick dunk there. A wonderful job to sort of make sure that Rainmaker never left the position. Scooter, players like that were doing a great job of holding down the backline, but it's not enough. Once Luminous C kept jumping in one on top of the other, as long as they got 1 or 2 picks, it was easy to just go the rest of the way.
They completely overwhelmed them in their own base here, which is what you want to see on a map like this one.
So, looking at top 12 so far, it looks like people still are prioritizing a lot of the weapons that were in that January 4.3 meta. We now go on to Clan Blitz on a humpback pump track, and with how circular and open this map is, it does open up a lot of options, especially for the backliners.
Absolutely. We often see a lot of exploshers on this map too because of all the trenches and the dips. It makes it easier to get into those, and then roller and buckets all shine on this map.
A lot of weapon archetypes can excel here. I often see splash walls as well because people like to set up on those lips. Firefin can sometimes be brought out here. The Firefin Splat Charger or Splatter Scope is not very popular anymore, but having that suction bomb rush can help your team paint if that's something that your comp is going to struggle with.
Absolutely. And then, of course, because it's Clan Blitz, you want to see the staple specials. You want to see like Baller and Bubbles coming out to help you with those pushes. Bubbles especially strong here. To plant them right down underneath the basket makes it impossible for the enemy team defending to get down to get you.
Yeah, and one weapon archetype that I didn't think I would see here, but that does have access to those bubbles is the Splatter Shot Pro. It has a pretty good range. It's something that a lot of players like to stick to even when it's not in the meta, and it does have a nice 3-shot kill, so we could end up seeing it here.
That and the Kensa Jr. pulling out those bubbles. Maybe we'll see some of that coming out.
And the Torpedo as well. Let's check out the compositions. Not much appears to be changing on the side of Luminous C. One weapon we haven't talked about that is being brought here is the Kensa Undercover Brella. That thing is a machine at farming ink armors.
It is almost ridiculous. I cannot keep up with it, and I play Junior for a living.
As you predicted, we are seeing a custom Explosher come out as well. DJ sort of holding down the backline already, only 15 seconds into the game. It has that ink armor available, but their team is 2 down, so smartly going to opt to back off here and rejoin their team. waiting for the rest of their teammates to come in. And unfortunately, you can see the Slosher just doing such a great job of holding down mid and throwing shots over that lip and was able to get the kill.
The only thing Luminous see here, they have the aggression, they have the pain control, they're pushed right up. All they're missing right now is the clams, and it looks like they're getting those too.
Muty didn't even need to see that one in order to get the kill. Have enough power clams to get the break there. They do lose 2 immediately. Muty not expending that splashdown. They are just going to kind of shark around and see if they can pick up any extra clams, and they do have it available in case anyone on the side of Bernina gang decides to jump down. They will burn it here and get a little bit of ink under them, but unfortunately not any kills, and they will get backed off by Scooter.
Dash here opting to try to push it again still on top of Bernina gang. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about that. When you have that many down, you should probably back up a little bit and retain some of that mid control.
Ooh, Scooter paying for taking up on that lip area there as Jared reprising their role as being a sharker, just hanging around trying to see if Luminous can jump to them at all, but they only have one member alive besides them. They will opt to jump, and they will have the power clam. Unfortunately, though, they weren't paying attention, and Bernina gang is able to get the pop as well. It is being well protected, so they will maintain the lead, and a nice double kill there to secure things.
That said, it's 77 to 74. We don't really have a decisive lead, especially on this map. These scores can swing really quickly here.
Yeah, because of how relatively close the two buckets are, it can actually be very, very difficult to maintain control on this map, just because any 2 or 3 down situation can be enough if you have 1 or 2 specials ready to push on forward.
It takes so little time to get across this map. It's so incredibly hard to protect. Muty opted to splash down here. A beautiful, beautiful shot. She didn't get anybody on her way in, but providing some support here, they're going to get the pop.
And once again, they're doing a great job of getting in, but they lose people almost immediately. That's already a 3-down situation, despite Bernina gang losing 2. Essentially a full wipe there, as Siren going to be able to hold off and take control back of mid with that Kensa sloshing machine. You can see the fizzy bombs. Basically, that's your idle time there. If you have free time, just throw fizzy bombs at wherever you think the enemy is, and you're probably going to at least get some good chip damage.
The Fizzy Bomb right now is so incredibly strong and did not really see a nerf in the last patch we got, which I know people were a little bit disappointed by.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised by that. The baller is ready for Scooter. Scooter could be looking for a jump in. We do see the Ink Armor and the Ink Jet come out as Bernina gang is looking for a good opportunity to try and take this lead back. The baller getting popped out as they throw the power clam away. They're able to hang onto it for just a couple of seconds, but not actually detonated. A full wipe forced by Luminous, and so far their lead is safe.
It looks like when they're trying to baller in, their bucket, or the football went out in mid, and unfortunately there was no jump to come in, and it looks like Luminous is going to come back here in the counter pop.
Jump in there by Muty's going to be able to get that power clam in, and they're all the way down to 28. You talked about that Explosher. It's got such a large explosion radius. It's such a nice way to prevent the baller from pushing in. Even more clams getting brought in now. They need 5 more in order to score. The splashdown almost ready for Muty, so they might be able to keep some of that ink by the bucket, but unfortunately they will lose control of it. However, only under a minute and a half left to go, so a good lead built up for them so far.
At this point, Luminous needs 2 footballs and 1 clam to take the lead, or to completely end the match, rather. So they're not that far off, especially with 3 down now. It's getting a little bit rocky here.
Yeah, the lower that time gets, the more the team that's behind has to force their way into situations that wouldn't otherwise be optimal. Muty unable to pick up those last few clams, able to avoid the splashdown, knowing they have a splashdown ready of their own. They don't even need to see their target as Siren goes down without even probably seeing Muty. They have not very many clams at their disposal, though, so this is going to be a very difficult push in, especially with that custom Explosher having their special ready.
Absolutely, you never want to see those bubbles there because they can be used just as well to defend as they can be used to push. Muty here taking care to share all of their clams with Lux. Going to give them a football and give them a good position here to push forward and end this game early.
They've got to pick, but it's a 3v3 situation now. Muty looking for the correct time to use their splashdown, but they've already lost 2 members. The Explosher targeting them, and in fact, multiple members are looking for them. They don't have really any specials with which to push forward here unless the heavy splatling can get into a proper position. Muty still backed up by the multitude of bombs coming their way, and we can see the undercover Brellas looking to target them as well. Mostly, they're just acting as a defensive wall to stop anybody from coming close.
Absolutely. I'd like to see a little bit more specials for Bernina gang, but unfortunately, that's the end of the game with no pushes in sight at the end of there.
Some say offense is the best defense and vice versa. Well, they were able to use that offense to push Luminous all the way back and Luminous was able to push forward and keep the members of Bernina gang at bay. Cyrene with a nice performance there, 15 kills, but it's just not enough as they weren't able to coordinate their specials properly enough to get that game going.
Unfortunately, that's the case. Siren now did an amazing job putting on that pressure and working with her teammates to get the kills that were necessary, but unfortunately that didn't lead to the pushes that were necessary.
Now for Game 3, this one is actually a map and mode that could snowball in Bernina gang's favor and kick off what some people are hoping for, a reverse sweep. Blackbelly's Skate Park, a very, very interesting map where a lot of especially short-range weapons that might not work otherwise have the opportunity to shine here.
Absolutely. We also see the comeback of the Explorer, also very popular on this map, sitting on top mid or sitting on your wall and able to hit top mid easily. We also see a lot of snipes here. Snipes are favored on this map, despite the fact that there's a large structure in the middle of the map completely blocking you from the enemy side. We
have seen snipers like Meep and Matt do very well on maps like this. One of my favorite weapons as well, the Tri-Slosher, has been seen on this map as well, so I'm hoping somebody will bring it out. Another weapon that I've actually seen a good amount of this tournament is the Neo Splash-O-Matic. And that's actually going to be the suction bomb rush that does so well and could be a very good way to paint the zone. Basically, both teams' strategy here is likely going to be getting up on top mid and trying to paint both zones as best they can.
And the Neo Splash-O-Matic does an amazing job with that, with its in coverage.
Very, very exciting. It looks like we may have a video here before this match actually gets started, so we'll go ahead and go into that. Take a look at the team compositions here. It looks like Bernina gang coming out with a double slosher composition. That slosher deco, so deadly, usually played on Clam Blitz, but the baller, pretty strong right now, can do a very good job of solo capping his own in a pinch.
Absolutely, and we're seeing pretty much the same comp on either team, the exception being the splatter shot on one side and the slosher deco on the other. And that's an interesting choice, bringing out that splatter shot here. Nice
double kill there by DJ. Of course, the slosher, a very good mid-range weapon at keeping members at bay. And you talked about the splatter shot there. There was a time when we would see the Tentatech all the time, and now the splatter shot, which has been considered kind of a mid-tier weapon, can do very well on this map. It's also got a special that can take a zone if you need it for that.
Incredibly quickly, and beyond that, it's still just one of the classic vanilla aggro weapons. There's no downsides to it. It's still strong, and it's still incredibly prevalent.
And speaking of still strong, we've got that Splatling, the custom ballpoint, or the ballpoint Nouveau rather, doing a very good job of holding down these zones. The baller getting detonated, and Cyrene expending that splashdown probably just as insurance, as they already had the kill secured, trying to back off the members of Bernina gang as best they can. And so far so good. That Inkstorm also a very good choice if positioned correctly in mid.
For sure, we're seeing Siren push up here and trying to get some kills, unfortunately going down to Dash, which should lead to really good opening from their team.
3-down situation there as Dash is able to basically cap both zones almost single-handedly without even expending that splashdown. And this is exactly where you want your team set up, especially if you can get your backliner on top of that cylinder, and the rest of your team has the room to push forward and keep the enemy from even getting to the zones in the first place.
Absolutely. The second you have your backline set up on top mid, you essentially want to get your front lines pushed right up into the enemy maze. And Dash unfortunately got sidelined from that. Splashdown battle. And a trade for the two of them.
Yeah, Dash able to win that. I've heard the comment that when you see double splashdowns like that, that's one of the benefits of playing on LAN as opposed to playing online, is that you're not usually going to have one winner. They're both just going to get detonated without a hitch, and whatever is meant to happen is going to happen. That was a nice kill as well by DJ onto Jared, looking for a second there, but is getting bombarded, pardon my pun, by a few bombs there, and is not able to push in. This could be the end of the game if they're not able to get any specials popped soon.
Unfortunately, DJ going down there, and we're looking at a 3-down situation. That might be the end of it. Luminous looks like they would take this.
Yeah, Luminous, very, very strong performance on this one. It looks like there's a splashdown that was attempted to come out. Unfortunately, not where you want it. You would prefer to have it on that zone, but that is going to be the end of it. A very, very convincing performance there by Luminous to take this one in 3 games.
3-0 completely, just right off the bat. I am completely impressed. Because as far as I know, this is the first match of their day.
Yeah, and I was hoping to see sort of a Cinderella story coming out from Bernina gang. It's not too late. We do, of course, have a double elimination bracket here in top 12, so they will be going to the loser's side of it, and that is going to be fun to see if they're able to come up, pull off some magic like they did in the pools, and are able to advance through the loser's side of the bracket.
It's always fun to see Cinderella stories. You always